All right, folks, we are back. So, in a disruption to our regularly scheduled disruption, instead of playtesting some more of our PAX patrons and Pantheon subclasses, instead we are going to run a City of Mist one shot. We are missing a few folks tonight, so instead we are going to delve into the city of hidden myths and wonders, all through the lens of some hard boiled detectives. So City of Mist is powered by the Apocalypse system. Everything is going to be 2d6 plus stat, and you're going to get your modifier by looking at narratively appropriate tags that make up each character sheet. We'll get into those more as we get to them, and instead, we're just going to start. It's another overcast, somber afternoon in the city. Traffic is nervously crawling through the rain at rush hour, angry drivers honking at the lights, while thunder rolls overhead. Somewhere in a residential neighborhood, the camera zooms in on a shabby apartment building, moving up creaky stairs and down a corridor ending in a milky glass door. The glass is inscribed with a pyramid and an eye above the etched caption, "All-Seeing Eye Investigations." This is your office, a cramped, dilapidated space that doubles as a bedroom when one of you needs a place to crash. The tiny kitchen is dirty, the floor shudders when the subway passes on the nearby rail, and at night, the room is colored red by the crackling neon sign on the side of the building. The office is where you hold meetings with your barely existent clientele and where you keep most of your stuff. But while you'd like to call it charming, in truth, you can only call it cheap. Since you've met, you've been searching for answers to your own personal questions, as well as to the grand mystery. What is going on in this city? You know there are others like you out there, people with legendary powers, and you know some of them are up to no good. You also know there's something covering up their tracks to make people forget. This is why you started this crew, to reach out to those few who have witnessed strange incidents, investigate them, and find out the truth. All right, so tonight we've got Hayden and Aaron with us. And what characters have you all chosen?
Baku. Didn't go as Job or Joe, whatever that guy was. He was weird.
All right, we have Baku. Baku is a bona fide monster hunter, almost completely taken over by his mythos, a mythological Japanese chimera which devours nightmares. This ghost hunting predator prowls the night and preys on the things that go bump. To remind himself of his humanity, he teaches martial arts in a little dojo in Miller Square. But will this be enough to control his mythos? So this introduces a fun dichotomy for each of our characters. Each of them is going to have a logos, which is sort of their mundane human self. They also have a mythos, which is the mythological thing that they are attached to. In this case, Baku is teetering on the edge. Out of his 3 playsheet cards, 3 of them belong to his mythos, and only 1 to his logos. That means that he is barely holding on to his humanity. And in fact, as far as I can tell, does he actually have a human name? I don't think so. All right. So, Baku prowls the streets looking for bad guys, but specifically looking for supernatural threats. What is Baku doing on a rainy afternoon in the city?
Well, he's on patrol. Baku's on patrol for creatures of the night. You know, sometimes they come out on a rain day. When you're fighting evil, there is no rain days. There's no rain out, it's only rain dawn.
All right. So very Batman energy, I think. It's an
Sounds good.
oppressive, thick afternoon rain. You don't really find anything, but there is a lot of brooding in dark alleys, just waiting for something to happen. All right, Aaron, who are you playing?
I'm playing as Tlaylock. I think that's how you
Tlaloc.
pronounce it. Yeah. I don't
That's
know
what
if
we're
that's
going
his real
with.
name or yeah, it's so I don't see any other name listed. So yeah, he's Tlaylock. It looks like he does rain and lightning and water stuff.
All right. So Tlaloc is a two-bit crook who can talk his way out of anything, but in fact is quite the diamond in the rough. He never meant to be helping anyone but himself, but then he awakened the mythos of Tlaloc, the Aztec god of rain and water, thunder and lightning. His newfound powers also come with a call to protect the city. So he's kind of a two-bit crook slash magical guardian of the city. So the two of you, along with some other folks, all work together with this all-seeing eye investigations. And I guess Baku, after a while, you come in soaking wet. Does Baku use an umbrella?
He has something to actually. Because he has to remember this umbrella, and he sets down to go fight crime. He just leaves it behind. He's too busy fighting monsters and stuff. So, just why waste the money on something you're gonna lose in the first second? He's sopping wet, just head to toe, absolutely soaked, like a
All
wet
right.
dog.
All right, so Baku comes back, soaking wet. You've probably got a change of clothes here somewhere. Um, what is Tlaloc doing on this stormy afternoon?
Enjoying the weather. This is his uh favorite kind of weather situation.
So maybe instead of being like in the office, we see Tlaloc like up on the roof of the building, just sort of like standing, communing with the storm. Um, but very annoyingly, when you come inside, you are no longer wet at all. After Baku gets dried off, you all hear the doorbell. It buzzes with two short, abrupt rings. You look at the milky glass door, but there is no silhouette behind it. What do you do?
Obviously, it's Lily Crow one thing, 'cause that's her secret. That's like the standard, doorbell ring to announce that you're coming in.
So Baku suspects that it is Lily Chow on her way back, but no one opens the door. What do y'all want to do?
Check it out, I guess, cautiously.
All right. So you open the door. You see a piece of paper slowly floating down to the doorstep, where cutout letters are arranged to form a message. Please help us. We are in danger. Sharks in Miller Square. A cutout picture of a shark is glued under the lettering. Miller Square is your home, the neighborhood where you live and operate. Consequently, you know it's completely landlocked. So, this is sort of where you are let loose into the story. Um, our sort of touchstones here are both sort of like urban supernatural stories, but also sort of detective noir themes. Um, so if you look under player moves, you can see your core moves. This is the primary way you sort of say what you want to do, and we'll figure out how it lines up with one of the moves. Um, And other than that, you all are free to move about the cabin. You have a mysterious note. What do you do now?
Clearly, I missed something on my patrol on the way in because I don't remember seeing a shark outside my neighborhood when I was coming home. You know what they say? Those ghost sharks, or it's probably a Sharknado.
It's a Sharknado. That's true. It is stormy.
Yeah, it's a stormy night. You would know. You're a storm person. You know, lightning comes with storms. You know, there's lightning. There's thunder. Or is it the other way around?
There's something
There's
like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
So are you all going to examine the note any further?
Investigate.
I don't know what we'd be investigating. It said there's please help, there's sharks outside, and it's in glued on letters.
So this is very fitting to your characters. So a little bit of information that you all would gain just from looking at the note. Baku, you have a sense that the sharks that are mentioned are more than just an allegory. They're real, maybe even actual monsters. On the flip side, Tlaylock, you're clued into what goes on in the criminal underworld in your neighborhood. Word has it that there is a new crime syndicate that has moved in recently.
Oh my gosh, could they be the sharks? The crime syndicate is the sharks, and they're monster sharks. They're probably in the sewers.
We need to find the jets.
We need to. Good luck. I'm gonna open a manhole and we're gonna drop you into the sewer. If you see something, just electrify the water or something. I don't know. Do something stormy down there.
Right.
So I guess let's go. Let's go find our local sharks. Apparently, our shark monsters.
Right.
If they're outside, they need help. And if it's a crime syndicate, they're probably in the sewers because it's kind of the basic place to be. Who knows? Maybe they could be our neighbors. That'd be really funny if they're neighbors.
So do y'all want to make an investigate check and see if it leads you anywhere in particular?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a reinvestigation for sharks, shark monsters of some sort.
All right, so this is our first check of the game. So we're going to pull up Baku's character sheet. And we're going to look over Baku's tags. What do we think is relevant to this investigation? And I guess a better question is, how exactly do you want to investigate?
You know, since I'm thinking it's a shark monster, I think I'm looking for like monster signs. Like, you know, it's raining. Maybe I can see some splashing in the sewers, or maybe in like the runoff water. I'm guessing.
All right, so that sounds like probably
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, so probably sniff out monsters and nightmares. Maybe also predator senses. And maybe meld into the dark.
It's not on the full sheet.
All right, so that gives you 2d6 plus 3.
Advanced roll. That's right.
You actually make this
like that.
Well, it seems like you should press the button for the move. Okay, so you can actually do this through your character sheet.
Say what?
So in the top right where it says power, you put the number of positives and any negative tags that apply, and then you hit the skill that you want to use. We'll go with what you got, which is a 9, which is pretty good. On a 9, so let's read this. Investigate. When you use your abilities to seek answers to burning questions, roll plus power. On a hit, you get a number of clues equal to your power, which in this case is 3. Spend your clues 1-to-1 to ask the MC a question about the subject of your investigation, or ask another player a relevant question about their character. They must give you either a straight answer or a solid lead. On a 7 through 9, I also choose 1. Your investigation exposes you to danger. The clues you get are fuzzy, incomplete, or part true, part false. Whoever or whatever you are asking the questions can ask you one question as well. You must answer on the same terms. So you can ask any question, but it will be based on kind of how you're searching. And there are some example questions. If you click on the investigate handout.
Okay, I found it now.
Definitely seems like you're zeroing in on something with sharks.
That's what my letter told me. Sharks.
It is.
There's blood in the water somewhere. I'm looking for shark signs. Rolling 9. Oh. Do I get like a sense of like if other people are like in danger, I guess, would be my question. Since I'm looking for shark signs, but I'm outside looking, do I notice like anyone seem to be in danger? Since, the letter took some time to craft, I'm not gonna lie, because you had to cut out everything and glue it together.
So most definitely, so you're used to dealing with more of the supernatural element of the city, and so you're not always as comfortable with the actual people in your neighborhood. And so you kind of walk outside, maybe sort of for the first time in a while, and just kind of like walk through the streets. And you've got these sort of predatory senses. People are acting like scared prey. Something has scared the crap out of people in this neighborhood. Lots of them. I'll say you can ask more general questions, or if you want to zero in on one of the people who's afraid, you can do that as well. And you've got 2 more questions.
You know what? I'm gonna find a scaredy cat. And I'm gonna simply ask him, why are we fearing right now? Calm down, buddy. It's only a Thursday night.
Let me decide who you talk to. So you're walking through the streets. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So, does this have a map? It does. Well, it has something. Miller's Square. This is sort of like the central thoroughfare in the neighborhood. Neat. You can kind of, it actually shows you exactly what's going on. You see a lot of businesses have closed recently. Stuff that's kind of been around forever. It's still early in the afternoon when you arrive. The rain falls softly on Miller Square, clogged gutters spilling noisily into tight alleys. Countless puddles cover the broken pavement, forcing you to be mindful of your steps. This run-down working-class neighborhood is a jigsaw puzzle of tenements and townhouses, divided into apartments. At the intersection of its two main streets, there lies the eponymous square, drab and lackluster, surrounded by a handful of stores. The first thing to catch your eyes is the corner shop convenience store, One Stop Shop, which seems to be closed off by police tape, a recent crime scene. Nearby, the only places that show any sign of life are Laser Hot Pizza, Century Laundromat, and the Miller Square Liquor Store. Two more businesses, Los Ramos, a florist shop, and Sandra's Hair Salon are also closed, though it seems a bit early in the day for that. I think what you're zeroing in on...
It's the crime syndicate and not actual monster sharks. So now I'm kind of upset.
Let's see. Everything I click on the PDF opens an AI nonsense. I think that your senses are pulling you mostly to the pizza shop.
You quick bite of pizza.
So you've still got two questions as you kind of approach here. The only hopping place in the neighborhood, Laser Hot Pizza constantly attracts many of the locals, with steaming scents of mozzarella and fresh tomato sauce. Running around from kitchen to counter and back is a young curly-haired man in a bright red apron. A young kid in a similar apron is proudly operating the register and shouting orders over the speaker.
You know what? If I have the cash, I'm gonna order a slice of pizza. And while I ask him order it, I kind of ask him, so what happened to the one-stop shop? Covered up in police tape.
So the person who is working the register is, oof, this is brutal. Operating the register is a 10-year-old. You recognize him as Willie. Y'all have been around enough. Willie sort of
show up, Willie not.
Willie winces. And he says, yeah, man, I can't believe y'all hadn't heard. Sam died. You all recognize Sam Saddle was the owner of the One Stop Shop. You know that he has a wife and two teenage kids. The way Willie seems particularly distressed. You get the impression that there's more to it than just Sam is dead.
No, I've been out of town. I just got back, and so I was wondering what was all going down. Some terrible news. Anyways, I'll take a slice of Hawaiian.
Willie winces again for an entirely different reason. So you can literally see the crime scene across the street. It is still marked up. So it's been a few days. There's a local paper. It's sort of like folded to a back page, and there's a small crime report. And you've read enough of these to like get a feel for reading between the lines. It sounds like the owner, Sam, actually committed suicide in his shop.
Hmm.
You've got one more roll on this, or one more question on this action.
Well, I'll happily take my slice of pizza, I guess, and go to the one-stop shop and see if I can just ask my second question. Does it look like a more of like a supernatural break-in versus a suicide? Or like a regular break? You know, like how supernatural, they kind of come in, don't care for like money and stuff. They want something different. Like something like important is missing from the shop, or if I'm a regular, I might notice something missing. Maybe
So,
like prize baseball that's like
are you
like
physically heading over to the one-stop shop?
Yeah, with my slice of pizza.
So you take your slice of pizza. There's a subdued sadness in the air around the one-stop shop corner shop, which is sealed off with police tape as an active crime scene. Something horrible happened here, but all that is left is a thundering silence drowning in the rain. So some stuff you notice just from walking up. Obviously, the tape is blocking everything off. A quick cursory shake of the door reveals that it is locked.
Now I'll have to come back later and actually like sneakily break into this place. Assholes.
Yeah, so you know well enough that if you try to sort of hop in right this second, there's almost definitely a cop watching this somewhere nearby.
Yeah. I'll be back later.
I'll say this since you were just to sort of catch this last question, because this is where it led you. You just kind of overhear some of the folks in the pizza place, some of the folks walking by outside. And the general vibe that you gather is that Sam was a kind and well-loved member of the community, but a lousy businessman. He would regularly give folks a discount. He was always happy and smiling, which means all this is a little bit more shocking. All right, jumping over to Blaylock. What are you doing?
I assumed I was tagging along with Baku. I might have yeah, no, I went in and got a slice of pizza too. And as we were looking at the one-stop shop, yeah, my character can travel through water.
Ooh, fancy. What do you want to use that to do?
I was curious if there was some way I could get inside the one-stop shop using that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think just straight down your wherever there is water, there I am.
There I am.
Yeah, I think you can easily do 2d6 plus 3. I think that this is going to be. Look at our option. This is going to be a sneak around.
To help you out, I'll go to the back window, pee on it, so that way you can just slip through the urine. Oh.
I think I got the impression the body of water has to be big enough to accommodate my mass, or I'm not sure I understand the ability description, maybe.
Well, dang, you got a 10. So that's the trick. There is no like long description of abilities. It's like whatever we decide applies.
Okay.
Um, man, this is actually going to be really distressing. Hold on. Okay, so you connect to the spirit of Tlaylock, and you are looking for water, trying to sense if there is a way to enter the building.
Yeah, I was thinking I might have to go down into the sewers first, or yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, so I think what this is probably, we'll say that you are able to go around back, or find some like corner shop.
I guess it says I can also flow through narrow spaces. I don't know if
Yeah, I think that's actually closer to what you're looking at. And so maybe
just turn
instead
myself
of
into water and just go under the door.
yeah, so maybe instead of travel between bodies of water, you're actually using small time fixer, and your history of B&Es.
Yes.
So you're able to flow into the store. So you can see where there's still like police markings. But you have made it inside. What sticks out?
Can I unlock the door so Baku can get in, or?
So I'll tell you this: you definitely can, but really, the lock is not what's keeping Baku out. What's keeping him out is that someone is going to say, "Hey, you're not supposed to go in there."
Oh, yeah, true.
Um, yeah, I'll say. So you're inside. Give me some kind of investigation check. What do you, in terms of the layout of the room? Let me see if we have a map.
Investigation.
We do not have a map. We just have a handout.
Oh.
But it's basically what you already saw.
Yep.
Feels a little silly showing you that when it's literally on the screen.
That is weird.
Yeah, so this is a little convenience store. Tall, well-stocked shelves. Really eclectic mix with a skew towards like little snacks and grocery items, like small sort of life utility goods. You do see that there's some kind of back room. Yeah. What do you want to check out, and what do you want to do?
I guess the usual investigative things, like check to see if anything's been obviously stolen, like check the register, see if I can figure out, like, do we know exactly where in the shop he killed himself, or supposedly killed himself?
So just from where you're at, you don't see anything unusual in this room. There's a few small things marked. But you do see there's a door in the back. You want to go see what's back there?
Yes.
All right. This dank storage room is where the dear old Mr. Saddle took his own life. What drove him to such an act of despair? The cord he used was cut by the police when they took his body down, but half of it is still solemnly hanging from a support beam. An overturned chair tells the rest of the tale. So you can see that there are storage shelves back here. It also looks like there is maybe a small desk where Saddle maybe did some paperwork. And you see a few things there. They are marked as evidence, but have not been taken yet. So, how do you want to investigate?
I don't really have any kind of like supernatural sense or whatever. Like,
You do have a lot of regular senses, though.
this is true.
Sticky fingers, maybe drawing on your history as a kleptomaniac and thief.
Right.
Small time fixer again. You have created some crime scenes in your time.
True.
And maybe shadow and observe.
Yeah.
You're used to looking for clues and interesting things. So that'll get you to 2d6 plus 3.
Okay. Come on. It's not working. There we go.
Well, dang.
Yep.
Y'all rolling high. So on a 13, you're going to get 3 questions. Do you get anything bonus? Nothing bonus. 3 questions, or I have some clues I can give you.
Yeah, I'll take a clue.
So this really makes sense for you. There is actually a giant puddle of water underneath where the body was hanging. You immediately recognize, though, it is seawater. And as was noted earlier, the city is landlocked.
Yeah. It's a bit of a ways from the sea.
Another clue, what's left of the cord, the knot on the cord seems haphazard. It's unclear whether it could have supported Sam's weight long enough to kill him. So you have one more question to ask. And don't forget, there's sort of example questions on the investigate card.
That's right. That's what I was looking for. Do I notice anything that would indicate, I don't know, if somebody got in and out of the building without anybody noticing, like how they did that?
I'm trying to figure out if I know how they did it.
Right, if it's even in the story. the hard question.
So I think that I'll let you ask another question because this is not super helpful.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that your best read is that either this is something supernatural that you don't have any indication of. Like if someone could just teleport in and out, how would you know?
Yeah.
The alternative though is it might just be a more mundane, like someone did this in the middle of the night and snuck out.
True.
Or someone intimidated people into not saying they saw something. There's just no good way of knowing.
True. Yeah.
I'll say this, if you're looking for something supernatural, you can think of no other explanation for the salt water.
True.
Like, this is a large amount of salt water. This is not like... I mean, you just rack your brain, and it's like, how in the world would someone dump multiple gallons of salt water in the middle of a back room, in the middle of the city, far from the ocean?
Right.
You know, it's like, was the assassin an aquarium worker? You know,
Right.
like it's
That's what I was thinking.
it's almost more ludicrous to try and figure out how this is not some kind of weird ocean magic or something.
Yeah.
Remember, the sharks are attacking.
Yes.
We got that note to show.
Yeah, you remember Baku saying that earlier, and I don't know. What did you think when Baku said that earlier? That like the sharks might actually be literal sharks.
That was my first thought, honestly.
So this affirms what the two of you suspected. It definitely seems like there is mist-based shark and ocean shenanigans happening.
Right.
Okay. Anything else you want to check out? Theoretically, you could perform another investigate if you would like. I do feel like there is some kind of rule. I don't know how in the world to look this up. Oh well. You say what you're thinking of while I look this up.
So we need to look up every magazine subscription in the area and figure out where these letters came from, which magazines.
Right.
And then we can trace that down to who gave us the note, who then we can then interrogate them peacefully with a wink.
Right.
Because what if they're the sharks, actually? They're trying to lure us out.
Oh, maybe.
And they're ransacking our place. We should go home.
Oh, we should
Right?
probably
I
go
need a
back.
beer. I think Bach needs a beer. Or
Baka.
Baku, I mean. Where?
Baku.
Baku. I think Baku needs a beer. That's what he needs. He had an amazing slice of Hawaiian pizza. So we need to get a beer, go back to our place to, hold down the fort. And we need to plan.
The shape of this post right here is bothering me. I don't know why. It looks
It
weird.
shouldn't. It should be pretty familiar.
Right.
All right. Well, y'all have had some pizza. You've checked out this
Fair
new
enough.
crime scene. So you wanted to go back and like look over the note again?
Well, you know, since
Just
Talc
make sure,
is
yeah.
is inside and Bach is outside, we kind of gotta go back to compare notes of what we found.
Yeah, and
Make sure
also,
there's no sharks attacking us.
and you can also, potentially, you don't have to have like specific names, but you could like, reach out to contacts, try to draw on your specialties or resources. All right, so we're back in the office. You all are able to see these pages, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, we just left the town.
yeah, we're now in our office.
Yeah, there's Lily Chow. Oh, she's gone.
Oh, yeah, they all left.
Yep, they're not
They
here
went to get
today.
pizza.
So who wants to
Gotcha.
check out the note?
Oh, I do. Oh,
All right,
I
give
want
me
to get a better feel for this note. So,
give me an investigate check and tell me what tags you're using.
okay, so I need full sheet. Huh. So like, wait. So new power tag options, right? Trying to. I'm reading over everything currently.
I mean, predator senses seems like um, a good option. There's more than a few typos. I'm pretty sure you have claws, horns, and tusks, not husks.
Husks.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to search this in sort of a supernatural way, predator senses seems very helpful. You also might be able to do something with loyal students. If you wanted to try and like maybe contact people in the neighborhood who might be able to tell you something.
You know what? Let's go with loyal students. You know, these kids, since they're all over the neighborhood, loyal students would probably be it.
All right, so that's
I
going
don't
to
really
be
get too much of a predator sense. 2d6 plus 1.
I think because of the nature of what you're doing, I'll let you use both. And just know that it's like sort of two different routes you can go down.
Gotcha. Not again.
All right. So, what sorts of questions do you want to ask?
You know, for the kids, it's kind of like, what'd you ask them? This upcoming crime syndicate, up and coming crime syndicate, like, what is their kind of like operating stat, like mottos? Like they hunt from the shadows, sewers, or they just kind of hit it all at the same time and just kind of go big, go home type guys, or they just kind of laying low? think they're both. I think the shark and them are connected. These are my dots. Like if I had like the bulletin wall up with all the strings and lines, I got these lines connected with like a question mark, but like I think they're the same.
So I think in this case, um, you're trying to think about like how to sort of break into this. So I think maybe we do a whole sort of cutaway. Maybe it just happens to be time for you to teach a lesson. So you go and your dojo is down the street. Um, the Tiger Claw dojo. You go, you teach a class. It's like a mixed skill level class. You have everything from like, you've got like people who are doing it just for fun. You've got people who are, like semi-competitive. You've got like little kids who are basically doing like white belt karate. And you also have you have loyal students and mixed martial arts sensei. Your students really like you. You do a very good job. You notice that there's definitely a bad energy in the room. Pretty much everyone here interacted with Sam at least a little bit. But it seems like a tipping point for something more dramatic. There's like the little kids are harder to control. They're acting out more. Some of your students just don't show up who are regulars. I'm gonna say one of your students is
Dead.
where's the yeah. You notice that one of your students, George Kim, who actually runs the look back at the map. Am I not seeing? Yes, your student George hasn't showed up. George runs the liquor store in the square. George is one of your like not quite a he. You've been pushing him to move up to like the sort of like amateur competition level, but he's just so chill. You've had trouble getting him to do it. But it's weird because he is always here. He's actually very friendly and like sometimes helps out with the kids. It's a very, very noticeable absence.
Looks like I'm on my way to the liquor store.
All right. Yeah, let's just head there. If anything can drown the sorrows of Miller Square, it must be here. The bell at the door of the liquor store keeps ringing as clients come and go. Amidst beer fridges and cases of wine, there's a narrow counter where a tall, quiet man is reading a book. When you enter, he gives you a long, hard look. Actually, he gives most people that look, but you know him. This is George Kim. As you come in, you can see that there is some damage around the store, and actually, yeah, he actually has like a giant bruise on the side of his face, which is crazy. You realize you have never seen George get hurt ever. Like, you all joke that George is like made of rubber, because he'll just get like kicked in the face, and he's just like, "No, I'm fine. I'm fine." Um, but something hurt him, and something has damaged the store. He's maybe got like a cold bottle of something up against the bruise, and as you come in, he goes, "Oh, hi, teacher. Um, yeah, sorry I missed class today. I've been cleaning up here."
I wonder what the other guy looked like when you're done with him.
George actually looks a little like panicked when you say that. He definitely something about that like bothers him.
Keep that noted. You know, they kind of like mill about, looking around. Grab me a 6-pack of some Bush lattes for later. Because everyone has to have a guilty habit. And mine seems to be drinking Bush lattes.
Do you want to investigate or ask him anything else?
Oh, I do. I kind of want to say, can you like go a little bit more detail on to who or what beat you up? As I set my Bush lattes on the counter.
Let's call this a convince roll. And I think
Could mixed martial arts sensei kind of help with that?
yeah, I think sensei, loyal student. I'll give you a little extra here too. I'm not going to tell you what other tags seem relevant, but I'm actually going to have you roll this at 4 power. 2d6 plus 4.
Might be the interfere with dream powers. Be one of them. 2d6 plus 4. 11.
All right, on an 11.
Oh, I could enter someone's dreams. That probably was one of them.
So George wants to help you all here. So George sort of gestures you, like has you like lean over, and he says, "Look, the there's been some guys coming into the neighborhood, and at first it's all, little loans and a helping hand here, but recently they've started getting violent. A few of them came by, and they were tough. And I'll say this, You have never heard George call someone tough. Not really. Like, you've heard him call like a 5-year-old a tough little guy when he scuffs his knee doing a jump kick. You have never heard him call someone he fought tough. There's something else here, though. Your senses are picking something up. You're not sure exactly what it is, but it feels important. There's definitely a sense of mist in this room. Something supernatural has happened here.
Now we're getting somewhere. We're on their trail now. How far am I allowed to kind of like use my senses and track the mist around? Like, maybe it has like a hot spot, like kind of where they first broke in, or well, no, because that would just leave me out the door. That's a dumb thought.
So two things stand out to you. So all the stores here have like a big metal, like protective piece they roll down to like reinforce the windows at night. You can see part of it has been like ripped off. Part of it has been like ripped down off the ceiling. Something has like bent this badly out of shape. And you catch a sort of pungent something in the air around this spot. Also, you get a weird feeling like something is watching you right now.
Well, in that case, I probably need to get close by. My guess is I probably need to make a getaway from being watched so much.
I'll say this. There's something. I don't know. There is crucial information here, but it's going to be risky to get it. You don't know what's going to happen if this check goes badly. If it succeeds, though, this could be what moves you forward.
Gotcha. You know, what did these guys look like?
He says, well-dressed thugs. They had, I mean, really surprisingly nice. Like the whole deal: suit jackets, dress pants, ties, suspenders, the whole 9 yards. I don't know, a real sort of family energy, if you know what I mean.
Italian mobsters. And what was able to tear a hole right through your metal gate here?
Give me another convince check.
The same 2d6 plus 4? Or is it just the 2 this time?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 2d6 plus 4. You did well last time. You didn't like burn any bridges with this. But George held something back.
10.
What is with this?
Right?
Sometimes we all get into these games and just like blast off double-digit rolls the whole night. So George looks at the crumpled metal, looks at you, and then he turns and looks at this mural on the wall in his store. And you've walked past this mural so many times, you don't even look at it anymore. It takes up like a massive section of the wall. It is a giant white tiger. And he looks at the wall, and you don't hear it. So you look at the wall, you look back at him, you look back at the wall, the mural is gone. And you feel something standing behind you. Something massive, like breathing down the back of your neck.
I figured out what made a hole.
It's like, oh, that's what happened.
I won't make you roll for this. You have encountered a lot of weird supernatural stuff. A lot of it has very like powerful feelings attached to it. Things that make you feel afraid or angry or disgusted. This feels calm. You feel like you're standing on top of like a beautiful mountain looking down over a valley as like a cool breeze blows. For all that it seems to have appeared behind you, you don't feel threatened. What do you want to do?
I assume this white tiger is like the guardian of the liquor store. That or George has some mist abilities that I, for some reason, just now discovered.
So you put some things together very quickly. You think about George, who never ever gets hurt, who is strangely good at fighting, but doesn't seem to have any interest in pushing further. And as you're sort of looking at him, you can just see this is definitely something mist related. There's sort of a presence coming off of George, and he says, "Sorry, teacher. Honestly, I was hoping I'd never be in a position where this came up. This is White Paw, and this massive creature is no longer behind you. It's now like padding around one of the shelves. It's even bigger than it was on the wall. You honestly don't know how it fits into these aisles, and things aren't just falling over. But somehow it's walking past all these delicate liquor bottles, and it's like 15 feet long, but nothing has fallen." And George says, Yeah, you can see the like wicked bruise on his face. He says the guys who came here weren't normal. There's never been anybody in the store that I couldn't handle myself, but these guys came in and they ripped through the barricade. Uh, I mean, White Paw, he usually doesn't get involved directly, but he tore into these guys and nothing happened.
Did you ever figure out what they wanted? Or they're just here to cause problems?
So everyone's been trying to keep their heads down, but for a while now, these guys have been coming around. They're they're part of a crime family. They're called the Falzones, and they've been leaning on people in the neighborhood. They've been giving nasty loans. They've been putting people into debt, asking for protection money. It's been vicious. They thought they'd come in here and cause a problem, and I was able to scare them off, but I don't know. I think if White Paw wasn't here, this would have been bad.
Probably be like the other guy.
Yeah, there was a guy with them. Google. Guy. Um, a guy came in and he started talking and everything went kind of fuzzy for a minute, but then my friend here growled at him and I don't know, it was like it went away. But yeah, I don't know if it was the same person that got to Sam, but I think there's at least a few of them out there.
Yeah. And you pissed off them, so I'll be keeping an eye out a little closer now on you.
So just to save time, um, George is able to give you kind of a rundown of some of the basics of what's been happening. Um, so basically, they've been running a loan and protection racket. As some of the stores here have struggled, they've come in and loaned them money and then demanded like exorbitant interest to be paid quickly. Um, they've also been taking advantage of like folks who bought things through the pawn shop, sold things to the pawn shop, pushing people to get loans. Um, and it's pretty much been happening to basically every store down here. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened to Sandra's and to to the florist.
That's what they mean by the sharks. Lone sharks.
So George gives you a name. The guy who came in and tried to do something, he didn't fight like the other ones did, but his the other guys called him Honey Lip.
Looks like I need to go find me some honey real quick.
Oh, two more important things. He says he thinks the last person to go visit Sam was a woman dressed up like the guys who came into his store. He also says he doesn't think the cops have done anything to investigate the death. It's like they're not even working the case.
Probably paid off.
Tlaylock, what are you doing while this goes on?
That's a good question.
So we'll assume that you've gotten this information the same as Baku has. What do you want to go check out? What kind of strikes your interest?
I say I guess I could do kind of a similar thing, like reach out to my criminal contacts, I guess. And
Yeah,
see what they know about what's going on with these guys.
go ahead and set up an investigate roll. Okay. This is unreal. Yeah, so three questions, specifically centered on sort of the criminal side of this. What do you want to know?
Like maybe where these guys came from.
Yeah, so I'll say you've definitely heard of the Falzoni. I think maybe you'd been aware that something was happening, but you didn't realize how just sort of how out of hand all this had gotten. What else would you? You definitely know that there are some large crime families at work in this area. It seems like there's maybe even something larger than the Falzonis at work. Like maybe they are just sort of like the local strand of something large.
Was I always aware that the Falcones had supernatural powers, or is the supernatural side of things a newer a newer thing for them.
Once again, I'm trying to see what I
They
know.
even- It's even part of the story.
I mean, I'll definitely say this. It is hard to figure this stuff out because people who are not awakened tend to, they don't tend to see things the way they actually are. They might say like, oh yeah, they're really strong and they cause a lot of damage, but it wouldn't occur to them like, oh, they have superhuman strength.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you've probably bumped up against this at least a few times. That there's definitely like a missed aware criminal element who are taking advantage of the mist to basically take control over parts of the city.
Hmm.
Something else I'll say, part of the reason that you all have discovered that this mist seems to be so dangerous is that uh, while most people, when they're exposed to the mist, kind of like explain it away, like, oh, obviously people don't breathe fire, so they used a, flamethrower. Um, a small percentage of people, though, become awakened and gain mist abilities of their own. Um, if someone wanted to use that badly, uh, it would potentially be a way to produce more and more uh, supernaturally powerful enforcers. And you've run into some things that are capable of that.
Do we know where their headquarters is?
You definitely don't know where like the main headquarters are. I think you probably have some ideas of what's happening locally. Um, Combined with something that that Baku told you, you think maybe the pawn shop here has some kind of connection.
Uh,
That they're somehow like they're not necessarily a victim of all this. They are um, maybe direct collaborators.
Well, I gotta ask, what time is it in this world? Is it time for us to bed, or is it time for us to go pawn something off?
I think probably you're getting into like evening time. Um, it's sort of up to you all. You all have definitely like gone fully until dawn before with different cases. If you think
Yeah,
there's
but
something
like,
more useful to do in the morning, you could definitely go sort of long rest.
I asked that just pawn shops are open for a certain time. If would the pawn shop be
Yeah.
closed?
Your guess is that the pawn shop is probably open.
Oh my gosh! Quick, we need to go pawn something.
To the shop of pawns.
All right. You all head over there. Um, this one, I think. Oh, whoops. The liquor store had a map. This place doesn't.
Liquor store.
Um, you all head over to the pawn shop. Yeah, Second Chance Pawnbrokers is just a short dip in the rain away from the square. Inside, you find yourself beset from every direction by dust gathering memorabilia, antiques, and other personal prized possessions. A long glass counter lines the back, twinkling with precious memories sold by those with no other choice. Um, so, y'all are definitely aware of this place. You know, it's like in your neighborhood. You know that it's run by two scummy guys called Dwight and Lyle Wilson. You know that they're sketchy as heck. Um, this is kind of a bad. This has been a bad store, but you don't necessarily know what's been going on beyond that. So, what would you like to do?
Well, Talkir is in need of a loan. He wants to get enough money to buy Sam's business. So yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus here, bud.
It's okay.
All right. So, what kind of check do you think this is?
I guess it convince.
All right. What useful things do you think you have here?
Kind of hoping to bring out the loan sharks, the Luini family or Pasta family, apparently. I don't remember them as.
Oh, the Falzonis.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, my brain's metal right now. Yeah, bring out the Falzoni since that's kind of their thing with the bad loans, and you'll get a Falzoni member out here. So like, I'm trying to. I guess was it metal in the dark maybe? Mm,
All
'cause
right.
at this point, I'm trying to probe them out. Could be interfered with dream power since I'm kind of on the hunt this time. Not. I can't make up my mind.
I almost wish I could have printed this. So here's our two sketchy dudes. That is Lyle and Dwight. Oh, hey, I do have a picture.
I think Lyle's the guy on the left.
So sketchy pawnbrokers. Yeah, go ahead and set up some kind of convince roll.
I figure what other my tags help here. Maybe metal in the dark, I think. That sounds like it'll apply. Maybe interfere dream powers, since I have a feeling that this is kind of a lot of powers through here. Would it be those two?
I think your instincts here are good. You're trying to convince them. They are definitely fascinated with your nunchucks, like as soon as you walk in. Your prized, beloved nunchucks.
My favorite nunchucks. What, you're counting nunchucks as one?
Whoops, I muted myself instead of unmuting myself. They're definitely fascinated by them. What are you specifically wanting to convince them to do?
That the talk here was here to get a loan to buy Sam's business. It comes up for sale.
All right, so you're trying to convince them of this lie to kind of set the stage.
Yes.
I don't know. So, without necessarily knowing what's happening here, I think adapt to my praise abilities and predator senses are both kind of serving you in this situation.
Yeah. Good enough for me. That's a +2. Hey, that's all I need to get a 9.
What in the world? um, they're definitely interested. They're looking at you and trying to figure out what sort of collateral you might have to put up. And they're gonna say, Oh, well, yeah, we might be able to help with that. Um, that's a lot of collateral for something that big. You've got that storefront with the dojo, right? You own that
Yep.
place, right?
Oh, yeah, I own it.
I mean, if you were to put that up for collateral, which is, a pretty normal business move, you could, yeah, we could probably set something up.
But you know what? Why don't you kind of write like a terms of papers? It's before I sign anything. Really, I just want to read. I just like to read over stuff. If you don't mind, maybe we'll just go walk around your pawn shop here and see what other cool items you have as you guys get that paperwork kind of ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I'm walking around. A lot of your items here are pretty dusty. How often does inventory move around here?
You know, some things tend to sit. We like to think of it as gathering value.
Gathering. That's one of the first times I've ever heard something gathers value when it just sits and collects dust.
Well, of course, you've heard of antiques, right? Antiques are always gathering value.
Well, true, but I think antiques look a little better than this old box TV you have over here.
Um, I'll say this: one of the things you notice just looking around is that for sure a lot of the items here are not as um, they're not as traditionally valuable, but you see a lot of things that look like a sentimental value for sure.
As I'm walking around, I keep taking peeks at them, seeing they're trying to like call for other people. You know,
I mean, your lie
because
was
I'm, you know,
decent. Your lie was decent coming in. You haven't spooked them yet. Do you want to try and sort of like do something to kind of freak them out a little bit?
yeah, because like we're pretty sure this is the headquarters here, and I kind of want to meet more of the people. I want to get to know my prey a little better, so I kind of want my prey to flush a little bit more. I got it. You know, at George's liquor store, he got roughed up pretty bad, and some pretty burly guys, for some way, broke his metal gate. The ones that you drop down your store like you guys have. So, if I was you, I'd suggest you might want to beef those up. Something out there's pretty strong.
Give me. I think it's going to be another convince check, but you're trying to freak them out a little bit. Um,
So it'd be like find weakness, predator sense.
yeah,
Stalk the stalker.
maybe predator sense and throw off a monster's senses.
Oh, good. 13.
This is crazy. Um, yeah, you start dropping breadcrumbs just to kind of see like what they respond to. Um, and they definitely like the more you start saying things like um things that imply you know something, they start to get nervous. Um, I think after a while, like one of them starts surreptitiously texting someone with a phone under the table, like out of sight. But they still have the like haptic turned on, and so your acute senses hear that like as they're like swiping over their screen.
Another break room from. So, like, what is your guys' uh, collection policy, anyways? Like, how, like, what, like, agency, like, bank do you go through? Or, like, just how do you like get your money?
I think this is far enough that they are uh, really blatantly panicking now. It is clear that you know something. Um, I haven't played with these yet. They have tags. It would be neat if they did. Yeah. I think you're gonna inflict frightened. Frightened 3. Um doesn't that work? Huh. Um on each of them. Um they do not like this line of conversation. Um they are definitely looking at the door now like they're waiting for something to happen. And
Do I think we pushed it far enough? We should leave, or do we just, we started digging this hole. I kind of want to see how far I can keep going, type deal. Options.
so they are both very nervous now. Um, I'll say this: if you make another, if you do something to like directly threaten them, um, you might be able to get something out of them. But you're gonna have to do it before whatever they're waiting for happens.
Mm. So I'll walk back up to the counter. I lean down on the counter, so I'm actually like leaning closer to him. And I simply go, "So you tell me what's really going on? Like why George is getting beat up, Sam's dead, businesses are closing. All of a sudden, like I hear rumors that there's a new syndicate moving into town. Next thing you know, the whole town's just getting uprooted. Yet you guys are doing a-okay with everyone's little keepsakes that are collecting dust, growing in value, as you guys would say. Must be good money coming somewhere."
The two of them are just sweating like it's disgusting. Uh, just roiling sweat. Um, I think One of them is going to start talking. Lyle starts to talk and then says, "Okay, all right, look, we get it. So, mm, okay, the look, we don't ever make anybody sell anything they don't want to, and if folks want to buy something back and maybe they can't afford it, you know, there are financing options available. Whether folks take advantage of those is none of our business. We just connect them to people who can help them out of a bad situation." While he is sort of starting to talk a little bit, his brother is like starting to like move along the edge of the room towards the door.
Makes sense. He's the runner. You're telling me the fat one's the one that runs first? Yeah, he didn't do much running before. And why'd you pick the certain people to get them in contact with? Did they come to you with an offer?
People need money and they come see us, and we don't go looking for them. And it's a pawn shop. People come and they bring things to the pawn shop that they want money for. It's just a business.
Yeah, but what about your finance side?
There's just some folks in the neighborhood who help people out.
The neighborhood's kind of collapsing. I don't know how much help they're doing.
I mean, they're staving off all kinds of difficulties for people. Things would be worse if they weren't helping.
How would it be worse? Half our stores are boarded up and closed up.
I mean, the other half would be the whole neighborhood would be gone.
Would they now?
While you've been having this back and forth, the other brother is gone.
I figured as much.
It's only a few minutes more, and it's probably where I'll tag us out for the week. The door is kicked open, and you see him wince. He's like, "Not the door, not the door!" And two thugs come in. Both of them are sort of impeccably dressed. And one of them is holding the larger brother who tried to escape. They're just casually holding Dwight in one hand by the back of his neck and like bringing him back into the store. This guy probably weighs 300 pounds. And it's a woman is just holding him by the back of his neck, like 2 feet off the ground, with seemingly no difficulty. You think you have found some of these enforcers. And sure enough, all of your senses as a monster hunter, as a being of the mist, are going wild. Something is off about these guys. And they drop Dwight to the ground and sort of toss their jackets and come towards you all.
Oh my gosh, I don't even get to say my witty remark I wanted to say.
What's your witty remark?
So are you the people who are supposed to like loan me some money so I can buy Sam's business?
Yeah, they are not
in the
not having any of it.
Oh.
They are advancing with very threatening intent, and you can feel the energy of the mist roiling off of them. And that's where we're going to put a pin in it for now.
If I pour beer down their pants, does that mean? Does that mean? LeBron? I can't even say his name right now. Like just like water shift up the butt cracks.
Can I water walk inside of their veins? Or whatever it
I'm
is.
going to go with no, but
Oh.
this is where we'll come back. We'll keep this game in our pocket in case we have any other interruptions before CJ is back up and running. And that is going to be it for tonight. I encourage folks, check this out. It's City of Mist by... I should have looked up his name and how to say it ahead of time. Amit Moshe, Son of Oak Games. Legend in the Mist is coming soon. Check them out. Very, very cool system. And yeah, keep an eye out for the Game Master's book of PAX Patrons and Pantheons, hopefully coming out next year. And with that, we're out. Bye, Internet.
Love you.